Welcome to the Green Wasp Removal YouTube channel. In this episode, we continue training and mentoring the Manchester University Wasp Team as we take on 2 eastern yellowjacket ground nests simultaneously. This is Vespula maculifrons, one of the most aggressive species that we deal with here in the Midwest of the USA and North America. They're a native species, they're beneficial, but as you can see here, they attack in force, and it doesn't take much to set them off. These wasps are famous for latching on with their mandibles, that's their mouth parts, and stinging repeatedly. In human skin, they can sting you many times, over and over again. Unlike honeybees that can sting once they get stuck in your skin and they die, these wasps don't have that problem. They can sting multiple times in skin. The only time they get stuck is like you see here. If they go into a leather glove, they'll get stuck in the glove and they can't get out. And you either have to help them get out or they will disembowel themselves trying to escape. These 2 nests were located only 30 or 40 feet apart. There were next door neighbors, and each of the neighbors had one of these nests in the ground right in front of their home where they had to walk by the nest to get in and out of the house. One neighbor had already been stung while he was trying to do some landscaping, and they had small children in that home and they really needed these gone for that reason. The other neighbor had mobility issues, he was an older gentleman, and there was a safety issue for him as well. As you see here, the first nest was located underneath one of the landscaping stones, so we had to remove that heavy stone and then we were able to access the nest. Once we dig up the brood comb, we contain it in a transport container that we can bring back to our vespiary where we can raise the entire brood until they hatch out as adult wasps. We also capture the queen, as you see here. And this is helpful because when we have a nest in incubation, if the queen is with that nest, it functions more normally and it does better in incubation. And the point of any incubation for these nests is to get as many live wasps out of that nest as possible so we can use them for venom immunotherapy, which is what we do with all of the yellowjacket wasps that we collect. Once we had the first nest contained, we moved on to the second nest here at the next door neighbor's property. This one was underneath a shrubbery area and it was covered in some of the landscaping cloth that we had to remove. Once all that was out of the way, we could find the nest and dig it out. What you see here is a very careful excavation of the brood comb. And as you see, these wasps, again, very aggressive, attacking our gloves, attacking our suits. It is absolutely mandatory to wear full bee suits and a couple layers of gloves when you're going to deal with this species. They are just defensive and aggressive, and they can be dangerous. Once we had the second nest contained, we started looking for the queen, and here we're finding her inside the bin, which is always great. We had her contained. Now we had both nests, both queens, and we'd already collected several bottles of flying adult wasps that were foragers or attackers that came out to defend the nest. As always, the team did a great job. They're so professional. It is such a pleasure to work with the Manchester University Wasp Team. They love to get out and serve their community and do it at the highest standards they possibly can, and it's just impressive to watch what they do. We'll show you how we take the flying wasps that we collect and we freeze them in frozen CO2. It's a flash freezing process in dry ice that humanely knocks out the wasps and instantly preserves their venom at the highest quality for venom immunotherapy use. Then we take the brood comb that you see here back to the lab and we gas it with CO2 gas to knock out any live wasps that are still within the comb layers. And we then take the nest out and put them into paper bags. And once they're in a bag, that bag simulates the paper the wasps would use in the nature environment where they build an envelope around the brood comb. Then we take the queens and we put them in with their nests, and we take the nests in the bags and we move those into an incubation box. This is a free-range incubation box. All of the nests inside it are the same species. In this case, it's eastern yellowjackets. And we collect thousands more wasps from these brood combs as they hatch out as adult wasps. Once they hatch out and get collected and frozen, they ultimately are shipped to the labs that create allergy shots for venom immunotherapy patients. So every one of the wasps you see here will ultimately help save the lives of people with severe or lethal venom allergies. So let's take you back now to August 20th and August 21st of 2025. When we work on these 2 nests, we're going to show you the entire process. You'll see us start work on August 20th until we actually got rained out on that day. So we packed up gear on that day and came back the second day and finished the job. As always, we appreciate you riding along with us. If you enjoy the content on our channel, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment to let us know you're there. Enjoy the show. All right, it's August 20th, 2025. I'm here with the Manchester University Wasp Team. We have Colleen and Katie today helping us on two different ground nests. Over here, we've got one in one residence and one in the other. We're going to work both today simultaneously. We're going to start with a species ID. And the reason we do that first is because we can't really cross-contaminate our venom. So what happens is, once we figure out what species we're working with, and they'll do that now, we can hook up different bottles based on each of those species, and we therefore can keep everything separated properly for biomedical use. All right, we ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Okay, we've got Katie beginning with a species ID. What she's going to do is capture some right here in the jar as they come out. It's funny how traffic just stops as soon as you need to take an ID. So the way we identify yellow jackets in the field is by the markings on their back. And as you can see here, eastern yellow jacket, Vespula maculifrons, has kind of an anchor head shape on their back. And that makes identification of them in the field very easy to identify. They're the only ones in this area that have that mark. The second nest we have today is down here. And they already came out to greet us. And we see this is eastern yellow jacket as well. Here we see a wasp who attacked our glove as it came out of the second nest, and so now we know eastern yellow jacket in both nests. They both have that distinctive anchor head shape on their body. All right, so we've got them rigging up the first side over here. If that's a bad connection, let me see what's on this end. Let's just use this one. I'll hold it for you. As you see here, we have a series of adapters and different connection devices that we use for each of these collection bottles. And the reason we custom rig them at each site is because every site is different, and you have to have removable, adaptable pieces that can be taken off and put on as needed. And that's what we're doing here. All right, there's one good solid rig, good to go. I'll get you a couple of caps, and then we'll get a separate vac going on the other one. Let's get this one actually moving first. So we're going to go in and explore a little bit and see what our best course of action is here. I'm going to say it's probably going to be best to just leave the greenery where it is for now so that they don't get lost, you know?
Yeah.
That's not a bad spot right there. Let's see how that one goes for a bit. So we're checking pressure first, and that allows us to make sure that they're not bashed around in there by the vacuum pressure. What we like to see is some movement. We like them to be able to hold on to the plastic and walk around in there and hold on to that interior shaft without getting too bounced around. Looks pretty good. As you can see, they're already getting ready to sting up my gloves, so I'm gonna go get a second pair of gloves. Rigging out the second bottle. This is maculifrons also. So the bottle is marked for eastern yellow jackets so that we don't cross-contaminate species. Now, we're gonna hook up some power and start the initial extraction, which is always swarm control. As you can see here, they're usually flying out with dirt as they dig out the space they're trying to expand, and then they're flying in with nest building material and with resources for the nest. Be pretty mindful of pressure with that one. Just check them, make sure they're not getting too beat up. You can remove some more tape if you have to. Pressure looks good. Looks good. Impact is getting nailed every time. Great. Looks perfect. All right, so we still got pretty steady traffic coming and going here. We're getting most of the inbound traffic, which is usually the case. Typically we'll get inbound into the container, as you see here. And the outbound, sometimes we collect them, sometimes the outbound gets past the container and we get them on the way back. all reorienting. Yeah, they're looking all over the place, trying to figure out what happened to their house. But they'll get there. So we're taping off the other side just to increase pressure a little bit. And that should make the collection more efficient here. Yeah, there we go. That's a good pressure and a good location now. We'll just let them reorient. So on this bottle, we have a lot of greenery around the entry point. So when we move that around, it confused them. And now they have to reorient to find the path back to their front door. And every time you change up anything to do with their front door, it takes them a little bit to get back to it. So we're just gonna let this one run for a while. But the position's good. You can see as they approach that spot, they get drawn into the collection bottle right away. The orientation process usually takes about 30-40 minutes, and then they zero in on where the home is, and they just keep going back into the bottle. It's the easiest way to collect them when they're swarming around like this. So you just kind of give it some time, kick back, let the automated system take care of it. So our traffic is slowing down here, so it looks like we've got most of the ones that are out and about. What we're going to do now is get the shovel and start smacking the ground and try to rush them out. Going. They love our gloves, especially mine, pheromone covered. So what you see with eastern yellowjackets and most of the aggressive species here is they latch on with their mandibles really hard, and they just continue to keep trying to sting. And they will do this over and over again in human skin. So unlike a bee, they can keep stinging over and over without losing their stinger in human skin. But if they go into leather, as you can see here, if you go into leather, they get stuck. And then to get out, they have to disembowel themselves unless we sort of nudge them out of there. Nudge right from the back of the stinger and she maybe can survive. There you go. Same with that one. So if we help them get out, they can survive. But if you pull them out too quickly, they'll lose their venom sac.
Block their hole a little bit. Let me think about it for the wax. We are just looking for a place to get you. Alright, now let's let them swarm in a little bit and then we'll dig in a minute. Okay, here's a dirt bucket. Let's put all our dirt in here for now. So we're going to start a trowel dig, looking for a tunnel. Let's get the surface off. So they're coming out swinging, of course. All right, let's let them collect a little bit. Get some of this swamped out. So they're latching on all over the place. Then we took a sting to the forearm, right through the suit. It's amazing how much material they can get through. I'm just going to let them get collected here for a minute. So what we're doing now is letting the bottle collect a few more now that we've stirred up the entry. That just keeps them off of us and keeps them focused on the collection. That way we don't lose so many of them to the gloves and so forth, which can rip out the venom sac. So for collection purposes, we always back off a little bit at certain points throughout the dig. Otherwise you get too much of this stuff where they're just all over the gloves and they're wrecking themselves on your gloves. You see how she's pulling her venom sac right out? That's not helpful for collection. Well, unfortunately, we got rained out. Rain's coming down pretty good now. And we can't get the electric equipment wet, so we're gonna have to call it for the day. We'll come back and finish tomorrow. Good collection though, very nice. Big busy nest. Okay, ready? Okay, one down. Let's just leave that where it is for a second. That one started to pick up. All right. There you go. Okay. Disengage that one. I'll do the same on the other. All right, I'm here with the Manchester University Wasp Team on August 21st, 2025. I'm here with Colleen and with Katie, and today we're handling the nest we got rained out on yesterday. As you can see, on this one, they are now starting to zero in on the collection device instead of running all over the bush like they were yesterday. So the extra 24 hours has been actually kind of helpful for us. We're getting a good collection started already. So we're just gonna let the population get knocked down and collected a little bit, then we're gonna dig. On the second nest, same thing. We're just doing some early collection. As soon as the population calms down a little bit, we'll start the dig. Already getting a good collection going in the bottle. Let's get the shovels going. I think it's pretty much ready. Give it a whack without getting too much dirt kicked up. right around the backside, away from the spout if you can. You can tap the cement a little bit without marking it up. That's good. It stirred them up a little bit. You see the shovel. When you see that shovel, I'm going to bang with the handle a little bit so we don't hurt the cement. There they go. Okay, let's let them run around, and we'll do the same thing over here. So Colleen is just whacking the ground around the nest entry hole, and that stirs them up. It makes them come out so we can collect them. You see them start to come out based on that vibration of the ground. They come out to attack immediately. It's a startle response, and that's what gets them out. There we go. Let's give them some space. All right, so we've got a bunch of them out now, and you see them being collected as they get near to the entry, trying to re-enter. That's when we tend to get them. Got a dig bucket. All right, so now we're just gonna stand by, knock down the population, and then we'll dig. Not a huge amount coming out.
Yeah.
It's good. I think most of the attackers were probably collected. Okay, let's get it. Where's that first bucket?
Behind me.
Let's keep this up and out of the way for now. Got a queen cage in that. Would you grab that, please?
Yeah.
Let's get the root cutters. Like some landscaping material. Okay. I'll make sure we don't hit some kind of cables. It should be all the way under or down adjacent. It's made up to cut through some of this stuff. There you go. Good job. All right, so we found the nest. It's right here. You're gonna have to remove all the cloth. Okay. Try to eliminate some of the support roots, first of all. And then we'll try to get all the way around the nest. We've got the top of the nest here. We're on a big support root. Not sure we can cut through that. We might have to dig around it. Oh, that's cuttable. They built right across it. That's their main support timber for their roof. Alright, I got cavities. So it looks like we're about like this. I'm going to stretch a little bit. Yeah.
Man, just imagine working for that guy in Ohio and not wearing a suit while we're doing this.
Yeah, this guy's nuts. Old school, you know?
Yeah.
Old school tough guy.
He's drying out.
You see this network of support roots that they've been working with. They always put their nest layers right between all of these roots. This helps support the nest layers and keeps it stable within the cavity. So even though the cavity has space, the support roots work like rafters throughout the whole nest.
Here's a big one here.
Yeah, it's a good sized nest.
I can't. Do you want the bigger bin?
Maybe. When you have a tight one like that, work it like this and it'll pop. Go back and forth on it. Saw it right through it. Okay, looks good. Now we're going to start removing layers because it's got a root right through the middle. This you have to pop with these. All right, can you see okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Colleen is going to shoot while Katie starts to pull layers. And I'm going to do a queen check. So gently kind of separate the layers. Try to shake the dirt off before you put it in the bin. And if they come out together, that's okay for now. Here's queen, right there. She just went under that root. So we know she's in there and she's not in here. That's great. Where's that root cutter? Hold on one sec. Let's get rid of this. There she is. Get her contained in the queen cage. There she is. Make sure that's her. Look good? Yeah, that's her. She's a big girl compared to the others. That's a good sized nest, that's for sure. Great. Drop her right in. Here's the newest cells. See how the worker cells are so small? And the new queen cells for the next generation of queens are being made right now. Once these are fully made, the queen will start laying queen eggs, and these will develop into the gynes, or the fertile females for next year. And they'll hibernate over winter, and they'll start new nests in the spring. All right, I think that's it for comb layers. Good job, guys. Quick and simple. Now we're just checking for extra cavities to be safe. Make sure we're not missing anything. And clearing out everything with the pheromone on it.
Glad to take off the gloves. They're trying. They're trying.
Yeah, they're hitting those black gloves pretty hard, I bet. Okay, let's get the spray. We're going to treat this now with essential oil, soap and water. No poison. And we'll start layering it back in with spray. Okay, I think what we'll do is we'll remove this now until we have the stone relayed and everything. And we'll catch foragers as we come back in. But for now, let's get out of this spray zone. Nothing to it. Everybody look healthy? Yeah, they look great. I don't see any casualties.
Yeah.
Okay,
Solid.
cool. All right, so what we're going to do now is apply essential oil and some soap and water. You need more support underneath. I can add some of these sticks and stuff. You want to put this underneath? Here, let me lift it for you. And you can load up some more stuff on the bottom side here.
It'll settle like this.
Yeah. That's a little better. How far apart is it supposed to be? I guess like that. That was pretty decent. All right, let's get the trowels and just fill in the edges. Let's simulate a hole that they're used to. Right there, and we'll collect whatever comes back. So, all right, Colleen and Katie, good work. That was a nice nest, good size. We got the queen contained right away. There she is in her cage. Let's spin it around. There's our queen. She's on her own there for a few minutes. We'll let her out when we get back. She's going in the incubation box with her nest. All right, great. Now, as you can see over here, all the foragers are coming back to the hole that we made for them. So we're gonna collect all those next. Don, we're gonna do the next one here. So we're gonna start removing earth around this hole, and we're gonna pull this back, and hopefully we can discover a nest pretty locally right here. And it's a decent collection already contained. So let's pull this out, keep the dirt out of it. Let me take that hook. Thanks. Okay, we got our trowels.
Here's one.
Okay, good. Here's the root cutters and the shovel. We're missing one trowel. Would you track that down? Thanks.
Oh, cool.
Hey, there it is right there. That's helpful. Well, that makes it easy. There's our girls. They are ready to rock and roll. Great. Try to keep that nest undamaged. We'll see if we can pull the whole thing like it is. And it's in such a nice spot. Hey, Colleen, grab the collection bottle. We already found the nest. It's right on the surface.
Really?
Yeah, it makes life easy.
Oh, wow.
It was right under the mat.
Oh, that's really nice looking paper.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We're going to try to keep the whole nest intact on this one because it's so solid. So far, anyway. Thanks. I'll trade you. Keep this right here. Somebody lost their glasses years ago in the garden. Take a look at this. Let me give you the stylus. Do you have the stylus?
I do not.
So this is what Vespula maculifrons is famous for. They are super aggressive and they attack everything anywhere near their nest. So you have to have suits if you deal with this species. That's the bottom line, every time. Let's go at it from two sides and lift it out real deep if you can. Up and down a root. Okay. Looking for the queen. Probably in here, but could be right here. At the top. Thanks.
Don't see her.
What's that?
I don't see her here.
Okay. Let's start sifting really carefully. We'll sift into the dirt bucket to contain her if she's there. Sift really carefully. All right, I'm at hard ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do a queen check, layer by layer. Okay, I'll have you take this tool and separate each layer carefully. Try not to damage it too much. As soon as you see the queen, get a good shot of her, and then we'll close it up. She's probably toward the bottom if you want to flip it. Start with that side. Maybe right here.
Here.
There she is. Let's get a shot of her. Let's do the next layer. I'd just like to see her clearly on film. There she is. You got her?
Yep.
Okay, that's our queen. Now that we know she's there, we got her on film, I'm comfortable closing up. Do not spray and just start collecting whatever's there.
Okay.
And we'll spray the surface instead of the hull after we collect. We'll put everything back temporarily. We make a little hole similar to what they had and just kind of leave it standing by. Try not to collect any dirt there. Okay, so what we're doing is we're creating a hole that looks like what they had, and we're just going to let them come back and explore it, and as they do that, they'll get collected. Okay, let's let that run for a bit. Okay, let's see what we can get. Try not to pick up any dirt. I'm a little worried that they crawl in there, they get covered, and then they come out oily. But there's so many of them, I want them gone.
Yeah. Don't want Ari and Ren getting home and running into these.
That looks good. All right, let's leave that where we went.
Yeah, the swarm has really gone down.
It's good. Most of them are contained. I just don't want to leave these guys with a ton of wasps.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the second nest. They dug it out and it was a very mature nest. We've got a lot of pupae in there. You can see all these white silk caps. Every one of these is going to become an adult wasp that we can then collect for venom immunotherapy by putting it into our maculifrons, that's the eastern yellowjacket incubation box. So that's the plan for this nest, as well as the other one. We'll get them located in there today. And that's been a very good incubation box. I've collected on that several times with a lot of excellent results. All right, good work, everybody. Now we're just going to collect a few that are coming back to the nest. As you see here, there's many coming back to where we set up a simulated hole for their nest, and they're getting collected pretty readily. So we're going to continue this until we feel like the swarm has calmed down enough that we can safely leave it for the client. We've collected since we set up the simulated nest hole. It was pretty good. We're starting to get a bunch of them in there. Let's crank up the pressure a little bit on this one too, just to speed things along. What do you think? Here we go. Yeah. So I think that looks pretty good. I don't see any that look like they're kicking off yet. Let's take a look at Colleen's. How's it look on this side?
I think the suction's a little low because they're trying to crawl out.
Okay, let's crank it up. That's all right. Let's go ahead and let it crawl out here. Why don't you film? I'll do it. I got gloves on. Okay.
There we go.
That ought to do it.
I'll spray down everything.
She's now applying an essential oil mix all over the area where the nest used to be. She coats it pretty heavily because we're only doing the surface treatment here because we didn't treat down deep in the nest because we wanted to collect a lot of these foragers coming back without any oil contamination. So now that that process is done and we've got a number of them contained, this was a good post-dig collection. Look at that.
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot of wasps. So I'm glad we did it the way we did it. Soak down that mat pretty good too on the inside at least, and then we'll lay it back down. That looks pretty good. Good collection. Or came back to the nest after we dug, and that's the way we do it. This way the client doesn't have to deal with all of these leftovers. We just spend an extra half hour or so collecting, and that works really well. For today, thank you very much. That was excellent. Quick work on both of them. So here's what we were able to collect after we finished the dig. These were just wasps coming back to the nest after we had pulled the brood comb out of the ground. This is why you always have to do some follow-up so that the client is not left with all of these to deal with coming back to the nest in the hour or so after you do the dig. Now we're going to freeze them in dry ice. All right, so we've got them now in the dry ice. Now we bury them. Once they're completely covered in the ice, that allows them to be preserved, flash frozen for venom immunotherapy and biomedical use at the highest quality for the venom to be chilled. That's why we do it this way. All right, it's August 21st, 2025, and we're doing a collection at the Eastern Yellowjacket incubation box. Very busy collection so far. Pretty constant stream coming in. So here's a collection from the incubation box. Good collection today. Very active. Here we have two more ground nests that we pulled out of the ground today, and we're going to take them and put them into paper bags that can then be put into our incubation box. The paper bags simulate the paper that was surrounding the nest comb, and they will be aerated enough and protected enough that these should still continue to thrive inside the incubation box, especially with two live queens. Both of these have queens. You can see one of them in the queen cage here. It's a little hard to see through the plastic, but she's in there and doing fine. So let's get her and all of these brood combs and adults knocked out temporarily with CO2 gas. And the way we do that is we simply pump gas into the container, knock them all out, and then transfer all of the comb into the bags, and then we take the bags into the incubation box. Be enough to knock these guys out for a little bit. And we simply take the nest. See how they're all knocked out now? We just take the nest, stack it back up like we found it, and put it back into a bag. Take all the extra paper and the unconscious wasps, and we put them into the bag along with it. And then you take the bag and you fold it up and you put it right into the incubation box. The second nest now all knocked out. So what we're going to do is stack it back up. And put it right in the bag. Here's the queen. She's knocked out as well. We'll put her right in there with it. And then we'll take all the unconscious wasps that are still here. And some paper. Put them in there. That does it. Now we'll take both of our nests and put them into the incubation box.